Source recovery. Source recovery. 1. Worthless meat suit. Last night/early morning, I found myself working with a great group of people. I did not recognize anyone, but it was clear that we needed to step up our efforts and define a meaningful mission. We decided to begin the brainstorming session, and the next thing I knew, I was waking up with a new project, source recovery. One of the significant problems we face is the wanton destruction of young men's lives by their own devices. In the States here, but worldwide, young men destroy themselves. For centuries men turned against one another, displaying a complete lack of understanding of the intrinsic value of their existence on this planet, believing they are just some worthless meat suit for other purposes. I am making a special effort to recover their awareness and connection to Source. Money and resources are no longer a real problem on this planet. The Guardian is taking care of those issues for everyone here. When that problem no longer exists, we must discover where the actual value is hidden. Delivering messages, imparting that information is my objective. Hopefully, it has a beneficial effect. Source recovery. 2. Blockage. I have said in source recovery, 1. Worthless meat suit, I intend to help recover the awareness and connection with Source. When we enter into this 3D experience, we must be grounded sufficiently in the I or ego so we may benefit from this opportunity. However, one side effect is that our awareness and connection to Source is somewhat blocked. We perceive everything through our limited senses and accept them as the reality. However, we are still aware of and intimately connected to Source. The trick is to have individualized experience, which contributes to the totality of Source, but rediscovers our connectedness to the whole, bringing new values to the occasion. These new valuations aid us in fine-tuning our vehicles, these bodies. Source recovery. 3a. Fine-tuning. Perception is the first stage for fine-tuning this great system that we are. Experiments in quantum physics have shown that nothing exists without an observer. Without an observer, there is only an interference pattern of potential. Thus, it is the perception of the observer that determines the outcome of all possibilities. When an observer expects a particular outcome at the core of their heart center, it will most probably come to pass. However, even when the observer, at the surface of their consciousness, believes they expect another outcome, the truth will prevail. It is essential for everyone to understand as much as possible what is at the core of their being, know thyself. Although going within and examining why you believe what you believe is helpful, sometimes, what we believe is the result of not understanding or misunderstanding, nonetheless, it makes up your core profile. Our core profile is a programming tool for this dimension. You must seek to know why you act before you act. Source is self-correcting, and we live in a self-correcting multiverse. You must know where you are to correct. Source recovery. 3b. Fine-tuning, correction. Perceiving where we are is the beginning of the process. Then, once you are reasonably sure you understand where you are, the question becomes, is this where I want to be? How do I act? Answer to the above question is not arbitrary. Knowing the solution requires a compass to show you your destination's direction. For this, many years ago, I determined to use my highest understanding of unconditional love to assist me in correcting. You can sense your highest understanding of unconditional love by digging deep into situations or circumstances. Of course, this will be different for individuals because their perception of Source/God is different, and Source is unconditional love. Therefore, you must adjust/correct in the direction of closer alignment with Source. If someone tells another a lie, they may believe that they are the only one who knows it is a lie. However, the believed lie is built upon by others. Others observe and accept what developed out of that lie. So the effect of the lie spreads to others. Is this aligned with unconditional love? Solution is to correct the lie to mitigate its effects. The choice is simple, but how many people will make that hard choice? The result is that the consequences of that lie embed themselves in the profile of the one who lied, bringing all kinds of distortions commensurate with others' distortions. These distortions form a dis-ease in individuals as well as societies. The distortion is always trying to correct itself, and no one knows why they feel so bad. Psycho-emotional disturbances bring down individuals' and society's health. It is essential to understand the self-correction process, and that if the self does not carry it out, other means may be necessary. The human immune system, when not compromised, is an example of this. Source/life seeks a perfect body. Source recovery, 3C, fine-tuning, perfection. The challenge here is to deliver my message in this section without writing a novel. Idea that we can ever achieve perfection in our lives is probably controversial. People tend to say there was only one perfect being in the West, and no one else can achieve that perfection. However, if you were able to receive an answer from Source as to whether it was perfect, I believe the answer would be no. Perfection implies a completed state, however, Source is boundless and never complete. Every nanosecond of experience contributes more to Source being. Perfection, to me, is moving in the direction of the highest state of unconditional love. Our goal is the correction. What would happen if you found yourself in this position? A trusted source informed you that your partner of many years has had sexual relations with at least 2 other people but has led you to believe otherwise, or some sinister force has targeted you in such a way as to cause you to feel it is true. What do? Do you blow up your relationship? Making decisions, determining whether your options align with unconditional love is the preferred process. Ask yourself if other sovereign individuals' fidelity should assess your well-being. Should an individual be stripped of their sovereign right to freedom of choice? If the answer is no, you are not injured. The lie is another matter, as spoken of before. And perhaps you were contributory in the decision, more on that later. You may then fall back on the theory that you made a prior agreement or commitment. Heretofore, society has caused individuals to make agreements in very immature states without the capacity of informed consent. Individuals should focus on achieving unconditional love rather than the countless superfluous laws bombarding them. Requiring individuals to give up their rights to make different choices in the future, especially when they are not mature enough to anticipate future events, is out of alignment with unconditional love, in my opinion. Individuals alone are responsible for themselves, and no one else should be required to be a certain way for them to be happy. You do not stop loving someone because they fail to meet all of your conditions. Your relationships may change, but unconditional love is eternal. Every situation requires more than a surface examination before correction toward perfection. Source recovery, 4, not easy. The processes of perception, correction, and perfection are not easy but very beneficial. When you make and implement the hard choices, your heart center has a corresponding shift/adjustment. Your heart center is eternal and carries you here and there according to your state of development. Your heart center tweaks and elevates the performance of your lower vehicles, potentially to total regeneration. To go through this experience as hardships, I believe it is vital to understand your ultimate objective of physical alignment with unconditional love, bringing heaven to earth. Idea of having to perish to enter heaven was a cruel mistake. But, unfortunately, those who wish to stunt your growth are clever. Source recovery, 5, partners in time. When we come into this dimension to execute our self-development plans, we have partners in time with whom we make agreements. Our partners show up in our lives at critical points to trigger our attention to our mission. They may be antagonists or protagonists. Remember Shakespeare, Francis Bacon, the whole world is a stage, and everyone plays a part. The admonishment to love your enemy has a reason. These people have specific profiles that will have a high probability of manifesting. Do not expect to change them, you must change yourself concerning them. The same goes for circumstances. They identify a strength or weakness you wish to pay attention to in this life. They are your allies. You will expect the ones that stress you the most to be different, but they will only change if they recognize a benefit to themselves. The goal is to establish harmonic distance between yourself and your concern. Tones on a musical scale require specific spacing of frequencies when played together to create harmony. Do not expect to accomplish everything in one lifetime. The objective is to be firmly on the path, going in the right direction. You are eternal. Source Recovery. 6. May I have more time, please, sir? As I have said before, you are eternal. Source is endless. In a crude attempt of description, you are a fractal of Source. Some wish you to believe otherwise. They would have you acknowledge that you appear here, squeeze as much life as you can into a few decades, and then you're gone. Unfortunately, most people believe you only have life when you are in the body/vehicle. Is consciousness, Source is consciousness, and as long as there is consciousness, there is life, in or out of form. Even outside of all matrices, my experience has been individualized consciousness, no light, but consciousness. Our captors have successfully broken up the idea of continuity of consciousness to make it a futile effort to achieve perfection or alignment with Source. Being unaware suppresses your capacity to ignite your Source flame and actual stamina. Your unawareness of the truth forfeits your shield of protection. Each individual would contribute to the overall safety of the planet, solar system, galaxy, etc. So take your time and develop your heart center, no artificial means required. Source Recovery. 7. Your diamond core. I continue to focus on the heart center because it is what has built the form you call your body, and it will always carry the unique essence, which is you, from place to place, universe to universe. You supply the intent through your heart-directed action, to raise your core to its highest state of stability. You create your diamond heart core through your heart-directed actions, thought, word, and deed. Your heart center is the vehicle you will ride through eternity. The messages of the one they call Jesus are suffocated, redirecting your attention, acts of love. You are the one who assists in driving Source progress. You are unique, memorable, an essential piece of the puzzle. Go for your highest potential. Source Recovery. 8. Highest potential. As I have said, each of us is a unique Source being. No matter your current circumstance, poverty, or riches, your highest potential is self-contained. On the other hand, your present circumstances may provide the opportunity and impetus for attaining your highest potential. Closely examine where you are and how you feel about that. Then, see what competencies you have or must acquire to cause your current state to conform to your desires, to what you wish to contribute to Source creation. Always seek to comply with the intent of unconditional love.